Welcome to Exit Frag. I'm Zeph. I'm joined by Esports Andy. Today we are going to be recapping everything that happened in week 2 of VCT Americas. So,
Mm-hmm.
Andy, it was a very, very interesting week, especially for you and especially for me. Um,
Yeah.
let's just get started with Furia. Furia versus Evil Geniuses. Now, I think Evil Geniuses looked quite a bit better, but I don't know if that's saying much considering that they were facing what I now consider the number 2 worst team in VCT Americas with Furia. What were your thoughts about this match?
That it was boring.
Yeah.
Like I just was kind of we had an abyss where it was like competitive in the first half, but then EG runs away with it with like Derek and Ye just kind of understanding the attack better, getting picks because like there were so many whiffs, I feel like with Furia. I feel like they whiffed a lot.
Yes, but I also just don't think that they looked particularly good on this
Yeah,
map.
they didn't have the stretch just was like I just don't think this team is built for much. But
N-
yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, even in my videos, complaining about the state of Furia, mostly because they feel like a lot of the team was built more around nepotism than it was
Yeah.
for actual results. And I don't know how much of that is factually correct, but it definitely does feel like this roster was just kind of like half-assed. Like there was no like real effort to put something like good together. Like the signing of Heat was good. Like I like that, but I
Hmm.
I don't know about Khalil MW Zera still being here. I mean, everyone clowns on Xeppaa, but at least Xeppaa gave us some banger performances. Like Khalil and MW Zera have not performed in years at this point, and they're still on this roster.
Mm.
Havoc, Havoc, I see having potential, but like, come on,
It's been
man.
a while now
Yeah, it's
though.
been yeah. And then
Like at a certain
Rafa, I
point.
I think Rafa is like the main reason why Hero Base did bad in Valorant Brazil, Challengers
Mm.
Brazil. I'm sorry. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. This is not a good time for to be a Furia fan. And I mean, I was seeing a lot of people asking for the Challengers roster that they had, signed
Mm.
temporarily to come back and play. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible for them to do. They are in the Americas, so maybe. But
Yeah.
a lot of people would not be happy about that.
But they did just play two game, the only team that might be even worse.
That's true. That's true. As far as EG, I don't know if Yay on Astra was like the best pick. Now, granted, he did do pretty well. I mean, 14-10 is nothing to be laughing at, but
Mm.
I feel like a lot of what he did was not like impactful in the first half of the game. Most of that, in my opinion, was carried by Icy's performance, and not
Yeah.
so much. I mean, not that I need Ye to carry everything, but I don't know. It just feels weird seeing like a guy who was kind of like legendary for being an opper not be an opper.
Yeah. Well, I think he could like because did I just can't really remember this game because I just got because I see oh yeah I see opt um
He did very
but
well too.
yeah I just think like I can see the potential within this team to be like a solid mid-table team um but nothing about this performance made me go like oh wow they're like so much better after the loud game like they beat a not that great team
Yeah.
that is struggling to figure out like I was in like sideshow's chat or whatever and someone was like oh you're because I don't know what he was watching but he was watching something else and they're like oh you're missing Khalil's like one great game and it was only 19 and 14 like and I was just like oh man that's how everyone feels about Furia right now.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, if I was, I think EMEA was happy. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's why I
so
wasn't.
so Fnatic and God, I don't know. Oh, Fnatic and Navi was happening on the other
Yeah,
screen for me, and
that's why I was
I was
interested.
paying a lot. I was paying attention to that game a lot more because like Fnatic were making an incredible comeback.
Mm.
So I was watching that, and I had my eye on the screen, but uh, I mean,
It was just a boring game by
yeah,
a low tier team and like a mid table team right now. Like if Ye becomes like incredible and Derek becomes like his 2022, so like how long ago? like
yeah.
then then maybe this team can be like a top 6, maybe 5th team, but right now there's nothing that like they would have to really beat MIBR.
Yeah. And here's the thing is that and I got a little bit of flack for this for saying that that Furia was making a comeback because to be perfectly honest, like aside from the pistols, like EG should have put this game away on round
Mhm.
17 and 18. They fumbled and almost let Furia make a comeback. I mean, obviously, yes, like not every game can be a 13-2, but I still feel like there's a lot of gaps in EG's like playbook. And
Mhm.
that's what makes me worried about this team is because I do see the potential, but I feel like there's too many gaps and there's so many teams in this league that are like hyper competitive. The fact that
Mhm.
we've seen 100 Thieves leave before EG, I think speaks more about like the scheduling that EG got more than it did about EG's skill. Cloud9 versus MIBR. Andy, I know you're hurting. You even like
Yeah.
try to reverse jinx yourself last week.
I just I don't have I just have no faith in this team, which sucks. And they're just wasting Oxy, and it's so pointless. This team is just not. They have moments where one of their players is like insane, and then that's like gets them like a contract extension for like 3 years. Yeah, because like, what did Zeppa do this game? Nothing.
Nothing. Oh my goodness.
And then like Oxy drops 24 and 15 to like push them in Lotus.
No,
Vic is like solid, like 23 and 19. Ugh. And then he got tired on Yoru at the end. But like, this team just isn't that great. They might go on a run one more time this year. They might beat Sentinels or something. Like, it's the same as last year. The team has potential. The team has everything, but they will never have like actually do anything.
yeah. I have. I mean, my notes here. I mean, C9 had a pretty good like 4-0 start, and it's this map like went their way at the end of the day, but they did kind of keep it competitive with the MIBR. I
Yeah.
think a lot of their experience from the previous maps, the previous matches, I'm sorry, showed up here on Lotus, and they were pretty much able to lock it down on the second half, which is why they look rather impressive. I didn't expect MIBR to come back, but they ended up doing it on map 2, and I think it was all because like a lot of these guys did not perform on the second map. Like you're looking
Mhm.
at Oxy with 23 and 19, and everybody else is in the negative. Like there was and the one round that you can look at to confirm this is when Cloud9 are playing Retake, and Oxy gets 3 kills, and then with 3 other people left, they can't beat the last 2 people. Like, come on, man. Like you have to be able to close those rounds.
Yeah, they lost with like some pretty insane like clutch. Like Oxy had a 1v3, Net had a 1v2, Vic had a 1v1 and 1v2. Like
Yeah, round
they
9 of Abyss. Go back if you can, or I'll put it right here on top, and you'll see he gets 3, and then no one else gets anything.
yeah, it's just that's the issue with the team. And like they're gonna beat up on the lower teams. They're gonna beat teams like Furia. They're gonna beat all these teams. But then when you play like a team like MIBR, Like you have to win those games
Yep.
if you actually want to be a good team, because like I said, they'll randomly win against like Sentinels or whatever, but then they'll lose probably to like Loud or MIBR or EG, and it's like you guys can't do that if you guys really want to be like a good team because there's talent. Like I think Net has looked solid. I don't think Net's been a huge problem for the team. I think the problems have been just I think they're just not that coordinated. They're not just that disciplined at times. When a game gets out of hand, it kind of gets out of hand. And MIBR, and one of the things I liked about MIBR was that when ASPAS wasn't being like the most insane player ever, going 5-7 on first kills on Pearl, uh, people can step up. Like there's some solid players on this team. I don't have too much faith, but I need to see more of Cortesia.
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
because everyone hyped him up so much.
Yeah, and to be honest, though, I did expect a little bit of a follow from Cortesia, because he was, that insane headshot percentage did come from like
Yeah.
a Brazilian tournament, so there was a lot of tier 2 teams in that tournament. So obviously you can't put as much weight
Hmm.
transitioning into Americas, but what I will say about everybody else is there is a lot of gaps still for this MIBR team, and
Hmm.
most of them I saw during Abyss. On the second half, they struggled trying to defend. I mean, luckily they got the pistols, so they got an automatic too. But if you discount like pistols, they did end up going 3 for 3 with them on with Cloud9 on defending. So to me, like there's still things that can be fixed. Again, I feel like with EG, it's the same thing. Like they should have put away this map like a little bit earlier than they should have. But on the other hand, like I can't. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Pearl. Abyss. They let Cloud9 win 8 in a row, which
Hmm.
is like you were gone for 8 rounds. Like what are you doing? It's crazy to me that
Yeah.
that happened. Now Pearl, I will say, Aspas was not playing the best, and thanks to Zenom and Zenom, Nauser, and Arzin, they were able to still play at a very high level against Cloud9, which is a really good sign that this team has potential to be
Hmm.
great.
I would have to see one more like like, oh, I guess they're playing EG, so I would have to see them like really show out and have like one map where like Aspis doesn't have like a good map and they
Mm.
can like carry it over like let's say like a Lev or a Loud or because like I don't think they'll ever be up in this year to like a G2 or a Sentinels or even like an NRG. But like I would need to see like what they can really do because they have that Star Duelist. How do they really work? Like, can they consistently like when he slumps or when they're avoiding him specifically, can they raise to that like level?
Yeah, and
I think that's what I have to
if
see.
Pearl is the indication, I think yes, maybe. If it's if it's the second map, then I think it's gonna be a little harder. Now, could they be banking on Pearl rotating out? Maybe, but it was also they left it open. If they were bad at that map, they would have banned it right away. So
Mhm.
to me, there's still a lot of questions up in the air for MIBR, but I think things are looking much better than in week 1. Crew versus 2 Game Esports. Wow. I mean, I have
Yeah,
no words for what I had witnessed on that morning.
they just they played like they were playing against God. Like they played so scared. They played so like, hey, we're not gonna extend. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna let Peru just kind of do anything they want on either side.
Yeah.
Like, but we barely saw that crew on defense. It was all offense or attacking.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is a testament to like Keznit or if this is a testament to how bad two game is, because who do they play? They played Furia, and they still got 2-0 there too. But they got 2-0 here against what a lot of people consider to be a pretty decent crew team, and man, they just got mopped. Like there's just nothing that I can say to like someone who didn't watch the match for them not to like understand, other than they just got destroyed. I mean, they won 2 rounds, but I can't like really think of anything that was like memorable about those 2 rounds that they did win.
You can't on Abyss have your Astra die for 6 times.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Oh yeah. Especially because a lot of it is post plant meta now.
Yeah, like, you're never gonna win. Like, yeah, that's actually really wild.
Yeah,
Because everyone went negative.
The one thing I'll say is like Gobera. I mean, he was not supposed to be here at all, and he is trying his hardest to keep his job. Because
Yeah,
after such a bad performance, how the hell do you move forward with this roster?
yeah, because I would say, because this is the hard part about being an ascended team. This is it. This is your year. Do you scrap it and you just go, screw it, we're just gonna pick up the best like free agent team we can with, like, maybe Gobera, or I like Silence sometimes, but like I think probably Zap probably has to go. Um yeah, it's just like you got to get your IGL on this one, and you have to kind of take away some of your like role players too. Like, I just don't know what you do with this team. Like, you're running out of time already.
They have 2 months to figure it out, but I mean, the early exit means that they've already lost a third of their year, which is insane to say. I mean, a lot of teams also lost a third of their year today, but it just feels like 2G are just even more behind the curve than anybody else.
It's just they're fighting for their lives.
Yep.
Like, if like 100 Thieves being eliminated, they're gonna be here next year.
Yeah, exactly.
2G you'll never hear from again if they drop out right now.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
I'm pretty sure.
It's much more dire for 2K.
So they have to figure something out as an org, like, immediately, and like start scrimming like crazy.
Yeah. One last thing I'll say about Crew is that I have no clue how this team is supposed to look. I don't know if they just played like gods and this is how they're gonna play the rest of the lower bracket, or if this was just 2 game just being awful. And the same thing applies with their previous match. Like, their previous match, they played terrible Valorant against Loud. So maybe is that more indication of how they're going to look, or is it more indication how they look now? 2 weeks in, and I have no clue what to say about Crew.
Yeah, I don't know either. My only thing is, because didn't Adverso have like show up at the last second to play with Loud, and then because didn't they have some issue?
Oh, probably visa issues.
Yeah, they had visa issues where he showed up last minute, and they thought he wasn't going to be able to play. And then he didn't play that good against Loud. But
they've been together since the start of the off season.
I'm just thinking, if he had to travel, like literally the day before, that could kind of suck.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, maybe that might be like, that was part of the reasons why maybe they lost the other game. I don't think that was, because I think Loud is actually a good team that still people are underrating, but that's a whole different topic.
Yeah. Okay, 100 Thieves versus NRG. We're going to give our overarching thoughts about this match, and then we are going to cover them in a separate video more in-depth, maybe map by map.
Yeah. I thought this was good. eeiu is insane. I said this in my last year to like look out for like rookies to look out for. eeiu is an insane initiator. He understands how you use utility well, and we got to see that against a great team.
Yeah.
That it's getting better. Like, NRG is definitely getting better.
For me, 100 Thieves just got really like unlucky. They had to play MIBR, which we now know is kind of like pretty okay. So they walk them, and then they have to play Sentinels, which is a much more interesting and hard-hitting match, and it was probably the most hard-hitting match of this upper quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
And Sentinels looked very good in their return. So
And they
again,
kept it close,
and yeah,
like
yeah,
all the way until,
it was
until they ran away with it
yeah, it was
on attack.
competitive up until the half of the last map. So it's not like they looked bad. Then they played. Then they have to play NRG, who mysteriously lost to Cloud9 because they didn't adjust to the meta. This time, NRG adjusted to the meta, and they looked a lot better. 100 Thieves just got unlucky. That is it. They had to play one of the best teams in the league early on. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
And 100 Thieves looked really good still.
yeah,
Like this team's a solid team. I don't see there being anything they have to just keep practicing. Like this is a good team.
yeah. As far as eeiu, like, yeah, I completely agree that he's probably like a mainstay on the initiator role. I would not even dare think of replacing him. I was like going through the list because like the Nate shot tweet and stuff like that, and I was thinking to myself like, who the hell do you even replace? IGLs don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
Like eeiu is a really good initiator. The only one I can think of is Asuna, but I feel like he's also in like a Gardner Minshew type of situation, and he's probably a little closer because it's more of a situation of like, who do you replace to bring? If you're going to
And,
replace Asuna, who are you going to bring in to replace him? And there's not a lot of answers to that question.
mm,
Um, as far as NRG, my quick thoughts about them are that Bonker has done an incredible job because with the previous like last couple of years with Chet does not adjust to the meta in like a week. He's very like
yeah.
anti-strat heavy, and I think Bonker was able to like speed run the reconstruction of this roster in like less than a week. Actually, a little bit more than a week. So
I
I
just
was
think
very happy.
I just think imagine having like Bonkar as like the head coach and then Chet as the assistant coach just cooking up counter stratting. Like that would be, even though I feel like their personalities would not mesh at all.
No, they
Um,
already don't like each other.
yeah, that's why I'm like that would be so insane if they were like could work together. But like I liked a lot of the ideas. I think they're getting their young players now. Like I think the issue against Cloud9 was their young players weren't as good as they were in the off season.
Yeah,
I think they got scared of the stage, or they might not have. They just slumped in this one match, but that caused like Som to have to go like be the star player, like Ethan. Like they shouldn't be the star players. They never really are.
mm-hmm.
Like I think their team's always the worst when they're the star players.
Yeah,
Because when Som with NRG back in the day, he was the star player. They weren't really that good. Ethan before like with Mada and Verno on this team, and they can be like these great players. I think that makes NRG the team that everyone thought they were in the offseason.
I agree. I agree. Mada played very well. I'll go more in depth in our NRG video. All right. That was the VCT Americas Week 2 recap. Join us tomorrow when we talk about the preview and predictions for Week 3. For Zeph, this is Esports Andy. We'll see you tomorrow.